Hey guys, welcome to my channel Among Stouts. If you're new here, my name is Samantha. I'm a homeschooling stay-at-home mama for kiddos, and in today's video I wanted to talk to you guys all about our homeschool schedule. So I have actually a couple of different schedules that we're going off of this year, and I just wanted to share those with you. I had a couple of you say that you were interested in our loop schedule. If loop scheduling is not something that you are into and you want to see how we did things last year, how I scheduled things out last year, I will post down in the description and also in a card the link for the video to our schedule for last year, because it was quite different from what we're doing this year. So let's go ahead and get right into talking about these schedules. So the first thing that I have that I printed out, and this is a resource that I got from CC off of the CC Connected page for foundations. So you can only get this on the CC Connected, and this is their morning time plans. And they currently have the first 6 weeks loaded on there, or at least whenever I initially got these, they only had the first 6 weeks. And what's really nice about this is they've kind of made it pair with some of the books that you can purchase for read alouds, and I actually ended up purchasing all of those books before they came out with the whole morning time bundle and these morning time plans. So what it is it has here day 1, 2, 3, 4, because usually one day a week, so your 5th day you would be at CC Community Day, so it's 4 days a week. And then it has hymn, scripture, memory work, and then Ancient World Echoes, a picture study, Kings of Rome, and Exploring Insects. So the Ancient World Echoes, Kings of Rome, and Exploring Insects are the 3 books that you could purchase for morning time. With the CC Connected, along with these morning time bundles, you get the picture for the picture study. And it has here what the hymn is that you're studying. And I think there's only 2 throughout the year. You do one of them for like half the time, and then you'll end up doing another one for the rest of the time or something like that. And then the scripture, so it tells you what the scripture is, which is Exodus 20, 1-2. And then you just go based off of that. So what I'm doing is I'm using this morning time plan, and I'm going to make it work with our loop schedule. So every time in our loop that we are doing, CC, we're going to hit these different things. So we might, and on our loop we're going to be doing everything for about 20-ish minutes. So every time we're on the CC part of our loop, we're going to fit in as much as we can in those 20 minutes, and then whatever doesn't get done, we'll just move it on. And so that is how I am planning on doing this. The picture study and the hymn are additional. They aren't things that we have to do. So if we have time in that 20-minute time frame to get it done while still getting all of our reading done for the week, then I'll add those in later. But the main thing that I want to make sure that I'm hitting every week is our readings that we have in here every week, because I bought those books specifically to be able to pair them with cycle 1. So that is what we're going to, how we're going to use that is just, it's kind of a guideline of like, these are the things that I should be getting in this week. So make sure to get these in during my loop time. And then the other thing that we're working off of this year is a daily rhythm, which I had a rhythm last year as well. But what I've done for each one of my kids is I've printed it off and put it at the front of their homeschool binder. And I don't really follow the time here. So on our daily rhythm last year, I didn't have any time set up. But the reason why I did it this year is because I don't want this to be like a super strict, we have to do all of this, super rigid with the time frame. But it is kind of a guideline to know that if I want to be done with something by a certain time, then I should be, our rhythm should be flowing around these certain times. Generally speaking, my kids should be doing their morning chores by 8 o'clock every morning, and then breakfast by 8:30. And then I would like to start school by 9 o'clock, but I know that sometimes is going to fluctuate between 9 and 9:30. And then after breakfast, we have Bible and morning time. Then after that, we'll have a break and have snack before we go upstairs for independent school time. So then there's independent school time, and then we'll break for lunch. And once we break for lunch, my toddler will have lunch and then go take a nap. And then my 7-year-old should be done with all of her work by then, only giving her about 2 hours to 2.5 hours worth of work. And so then she'll either take a nap or have quiet time, just depending on what her body is feeling like. And then for my older two, they will still have more work to get through just because they're in higher grades and they have more things that they're working on. So after lunch, they'll go into their afternoon school time. And then once they're done with that, which should be no later than 3 o'clock, that's whenever everyone has free time and they'll have another snack. And then I have on here 4 o'clock for screen time and extracurriculars, because it's generally whenever I have to get out the door on various days to get especially my 2 girls out to dance, and then whatever time my son ends up doing golf, that's what that'll be. And then I even added on here that chores should be their evening chores, so cleaning up whatever they have to do, taking care of their rooms and their restroom. They need to be doing that by 7 o'clock and getting ready for bed so that they can hit the bed by 8:30. So I just have like their whole daily rhythm on here. I don't even know that they'll actually look at it that often. They'll look at it probably for the first few weeks until they get kind of a hang of like what their rhythm should be, and then we can just follow it like as an easy flow. Okay, so then what I did, I have it in here. Each one of my kids has our full like independent loop here. And then on the other side is a morning time loop. So here is what that looks like up close. So this is the morning time loop. And then this one is my 7-year-old. So then there would be her independent time loop. So I'll just go ahead and tell you guys, and then I'll show you up close what each of their individual loops look like. So up here on our morning time schedule, it says morning time, we're going to start with devotional, then do a memory verse, a character card, then we'll go into CC memory work, and then we'll do science or history. And there's an asterisk by that because we will, and then down here it says science is Monday and Wednesday, history Tuesday and Thursday. And then we'll go into our Bible loop and then finish out with our read aloud loop. So in our Bible loop, we have fruit of the Spirit, our theology, doxology, armor of God, one blood, and door of salvation. And I'll show you guys what all of that is in our actual morning time basket video. And then over here in our read aloud loop, I have Ancient World Echoes, Insects, Kings of Rome, a CC paired reader, and then a novel. So whatever, if I have something picked out, a picture book or something like that picked out for any specific week for CC, that's where it will go in that CC paired reader. If I don't have one picked out, we'll just cross it off and head over to our novel read aloud, whatever we're going through. So I know that I was considering like the Golden Goblet, and then a few other books. I have some books from Priscilla Shirer that go with our Armor of God book study. So those will probably be something here that we'll read during our novel time. And so the reason why I have all of this on a loop is because I have so much stuff that I want my kids to do and that I want us to do together and that I want to fit in. But we would be doing school like for 8 hours a day for 8 to 12 hours a day if I made them do every single thing. So knowing that their devotional is going to take 3 to 5 minutes. Memory verse, again, 2 to 3 minutes. Character card, just a few minutes. And then CC memory work, where the morning time bundle will come in. And like I said, about 20 minutes for that. History, science or history should be about 10, 15, 20 minutes. And then we're only going to do one thing from the loop. So whether it's the fruit of the Spirit and the Ancient World Echoes. So that'll give us plenty of time to make sure that we're hitting everything that we need to. So that's what our morning time loop looks like. Like I said, I have the Ancient World Echoes, Insects, and Kings of Rome over here in our loop. So we're doing our CC memory work every day, and that's going to be our Latin, math, science sentence, English sentence, history, timeline, geography. So all of those are just like, we can do them to song, we can do them to chant. I have a little flip book that I have that we can just quickly go through it. CC memory work takes just a few minutes. We're not going to, since we're doing it every day and it's in the loop, we're not going to harp on it. And then down here when we get to the read aloud loop, when it says Ancient World Echoes there, I can just come to my morning time plans and then see what is it that we're reading in there. And then I will have the time, depending on how long they are, to probably read each one of those. And if I don't finish, I can leave the loop. I can just make a little note here with a dry erase on which one that I still need to read. And then the next day I'll read that and the insects. And then insects is a lot shorter, so by the time I get to the next day, I'll be able to read the Kings of Rome. So putting it all in a loop makes it to where it's all really doable without having to completely follow this morning time plans. This is just really a guide to let me know what I need to read that week. So that is how our morning time loop is going to look. And keep an eye out. I am going to be filming all about everything that I have for our morning time. I have tons of different resource books. I have all of my kids' all of the stuff that you see on here. I have all of that. I need to get it filmed and get it uploaded for you guys, so just keep an eye out on that. Okay, so now I'll bring you guys closer over here so that I can go ahead and show you what each one of my kids' individual schedules looks like, because I have one for each one of my kids, even my toddler. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off with my toddler's schedule here. As you can see, this is where it's the daily part. So these are the things that he's going to be doing every single day. We will start upstairs with scripture, catechism, character, and then we'll do his read aloud for the day. Then we're going to do his binder. Then we'll come down to the loop. So he has a preschool loop and a sensory loop. So we'll pick one activity over here. So the first thing would be preschool math. We'll mark that off. And then the next day he'll come and do art, study, and music. Mark that off. And then we're only going to be doing things 4 times a week, because on the 5th day, the rest of us are off at CC and he's here with my husband hanging out. So my husband, this is also really easy for my husband to follow. He'll see what needs to be done next and he can do it with him. Or they can choose to just have fun Friday, and whenever I come back with him on Monday, we can pick up where we left off. And then the same thing for the sensory loop. Once he does one thing from the preschool loop and we mark it off, we'll come over to the sensory loop and do one thing on this side and mark it off. And then if he's like, say he's on sensory bin day and he's just having a ton of fun, this is why I have sensory loop blast, is I don't want to have to cut it short for him. If he's on one of these and he's just having a blast and having tons of fun with it, and he's holding up pretty well, I'll just let him keep having fun doing all of this until lunch is ready, and then we'll go down and have lunch, and then it'll be nap time and everything will be cleaned up. And if he's asking to do more of whatever his sensory was at that time, we can pull it out and do more. But this is the gist of what his loop schedule is. And then here is my oldest son's loop schedule. So every day he's doing, and I have a language arts loop here. Even though essentials and IEW fall in language arts, that's what he's going to be doing every day, just because it's part of our CC, and I already have everything like worked out to how that's going to work for him. So that won't be a part of his language arts loop. But every day he will do math, his essentials work, his IEW work, and then we'll go to, I forgot to add his STEM loop. So I have to go back and I'll just write it on here. Okay, so he'll do his math, essentials, IEW, and then we'll go into language arts loop, and then weekly loop, and then STEM loop. I forgot to type in print STEM loop, so I just handwrote it. So in his language arts loop, there's language lessons for living education, wordly wise, and then a novel study. So because he's doing so much here, I don't want him doing all of this every single day, but I do want him to still do these just because I know they work, and it's something that I feel like needs to be a part of his curriculum. So that's how we're going to fit it in, is by doing it in a loop. And then we'll come over to his weekly loop here, and this is where this will eventually come off because his essentials does have spelling in it, but he's not going to do that spelling while he's still working on his spelling UC. So once he's done with his spelling UC, we'll take this off and he'll just do it as a part of his essentials. But for now, his weekly loop will be spelling, geography, handwriting, and nature journal. And then over here on his STEM loop, we have typing, architect design, Scratch, Python, and then he can choose painting or drawing. For him, it'll likely be drawing because he doesn't really love painting, but it's always an option. And so these are just things that are interests of his that we want to add in. as a part of school, and this is, again, the loop makes it to where we can do that. Okay, so now over here I have my oldest daughter's loop schedule, and kind of the same thing as my sons. They all are going to have some sort of a language arts loop, you'll see. But she is going to be doing math, essentials, IEW, and then we'll come down to her language arts loop, which is the good and the beautiful, wordly wise, and then a poetry study. She's just really into poetry right now, so I have a couple books, and I'm just going to let her work out of those and then find enrichment packs or make my own for that. So that isn't quite figured out quite yet, but we'll get there. So whenever she is doing her weekly loop over here, this is what my sons will end up looking like, because she is doing the essential spelling. And I went ahead and put her typing over here just because she needed some a fill in here. So she's got geography, typing, handwriting, and nature journal. And then in her STEM loop, she's got a little bit less because these are just her specific interests right now. And so her STEM loop is Scratch, which is kind of like it's an intro to coding for kids. So Scratch, fashion design, magazine, and then paint and draw. The magazine is, these two books are Usborne books where it kind of just walks them through how to do these different things, and she's really interested in both. So she'll have time in her homeschool day for that, and then painting and drawing. And for her, she likes both, so she can just choose what she feels like doing for that particular day. So there is her loop. Here is my youngest daughter's, and hers is just a little bit different. A little bit different, and I'll show you how. So daily, she's going to be doing math, the good and the beautiful, language arts, and spelling. And then for her, she has a reading loop, a weekly loop, and a STEM loop. So when we come down to her reading loop, it's all about reading, explore the code, just Bob books, or just the good and beautiful readers. And I do that because the good and the beautiful language arts is already going to have reading practice and phonics practice in it. And I don't want her to have to do all of that and all of this every single day. So I figured for her it was just easier to add extra reading practice, because this is an area of emphasis where we need to see improvement for her. So just being able to get in some extra practice for her each day with being able to add variety, it's again easier by being able to do it in a loop. So then over here in her weekly loop, she has a different science curriculum that she's going to be doing. So we have her science here, geography, handwriting, and her busy binder. And my other daughter does have a busy binder as well that I could add to her weekly loop if I wanted, and I might actually do that and go ahead and move the typing to her STEM loop. And then over here for STEM loop, I usually have her with a monthly Play-Doh subscription. So that's where this is. So she's got in her STEM loop Play-Doh, Scratch, Paint and Draw, or choosing an activity out of our STEM books. And even though this particular one right here isn't on my other kids' schedule, that's always an option for them. But I try to put in here only specifically what they were interested in, but I'm not going to say no if they want to do something different. The STEM loop here is just like their minimum, like, of what they could do, but their options are endless, if that makes any sense. Okay guys, so those are all of our schedules for this year, homeschool year 2021-22. If you guys have any questions or need any clarification on anything, just let me know down in the comments. Always, you can feel free to email me. My email's in the description at all times. And also find me on Instagram. You can message me there. I really enjoy whenever you guys send me messages on Instagram, because then it's really nice able to put a face to one of those numbers of like who subscribed to me. So don't ever hesitate to message me in any of those ways. I'm always happy to answer questions if you guys have any. These loop schedules and even the daily rhythm, I got these printables from Apples and Applesauce. I can't remember exactly, but I will have her website or her Etsy shop linked in the description so that you guys can go and get these printables if you're interested in using them to help you easily put together your loop schedule or your daily rhythm. So that is all that I have for you guys today. If you guys enjoyed this video, please go ahead and hit the like. If you aren't already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit subscribe. I would love to have you here as a part of my community, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!